That was Sensibility Executive Director Roy Paul ringing the opening bell at NASTech last spring. He and his team did so to mark Financial Literacy Month. Sensibility is a nonprofit that is dedicated to educating high school students about personal finance. For how it does so, plus to offer a few tips today, I welcome Roy Paul here to our show. So that was last year. This year you rang it at the New York Stock Exchange. Wow,
That was so fun.
You are getting out there. So tell folks really, what is Sensibility? How did it come to be?
Sure. So Sensibility was founded about 15 years ago, and Alexa DuPont Bell, who graduated from Harvard Business School, and John Moore was her classmate. Despite the fact that they came from, means, Alexa's a member of the DuPont family, and they were both at Harvard Business School of all places, they were struggling with their personal finances.
Interesting.
So they looked at each other one day and said, if we've got access to all the things we do, can you imagine people, especially kids from low-income communities, we should do something to give back. And that was really the impetus behind Sensibility. So we connect with schools, nonprofit organizations, and we provide volunteers in the financial services industry who want to give back, and we all do it for free. The organization gets money from banks and corporations. We sort of rob Peter to pay Paul, and the volunteers do it out of the goodness of their heart to give back. And all of the resources that we provide to the community is free for that very reason. So if there are schools here in Harrisburg or the surrounding communities that want our curriculum, we give it to them for free. We support legislation from different legislators who are trying to enact financial literacy curriculum. So we really are a one-stop shop for financial literacy. We want young people to really be prepared for the future.
And as you said, like the founders saw, there is a need there. You're actually going to share a few tips, little tips here on our show today to the audience. And this is the kind of things that high school students can learn to secure that financial future. For one, you say, hey, it starts with saving.
Saving. The 50-30-20 rule is really what we teach. 50% when you get your check on the things you absolutely need, your rent, your car payment. And if you're a teenager, no, you're not paying rent, but maybe you pay your own car note for responsibility. 30% on things you may want, hanging out with your friends, going shopping. You make money, you should also spend it and have some fun with it. But the golden rule is 20% of every check you get, just save it and don't spend it. Just put it somewhere that you don't have to touch. And that's critically important because there are a third of Americans that don't save and therefore aren't prepared for retirement. And if you think about it, as a teenager it may be tough, or maybe in your older years, I always run into people who say, well, I could use that and I'm 50, right? This is good advice for everyone. But you want to be 75 and have the golden years that you want with your grandkids, etc. You don't want to be bounded by debt.
So just save. We're already running out of time, so I want to go through the other ones. Know about student loans and the financial impact.
This is really a pet peeve of mine because I talk to teenagers all the time that go into college. We're doing a great job with sending kids to college, and that's wonderful. But they're all taking out loans. And if you say to them, what's your monthly payment going to be in 4 years when you graduate? They have no clue. And my niece was going through this, and I said, what's your monthly payment going to be? She said, oh, I don't know. We called the financial aid office. They didn't even have a way of telling her what the information was. So if you really want to know what you're going to pay in 4 years, either you have to figure it out yourself, or you wait until 4 years and you get the bill.
And you get shocked. Let's talk about budgeting.
Yeah. This is important. If you don't know how to create a budget, just Google it, how to create a budget. Google is your friend in this case. But if you don't have a budget, how do you know what you're doing with your money? That's critically important. And not just now for teenagers, but for people of all ages. Don't have money coming in and money going out and you're not tracking it.
Very good. And then finally, our last tip for today, the good versus the bad use of credit.
Yeah, it boggles the mind because you would think that if you get a piece of plastic that you have to pay that bill back every month. I run into teenagers all the time, and the moment you mention credit cards, they go, oh, I want to put $300 sneakers on that. And you go, where did someone teach you that it was a smart idea to put $300 sneakers on a credit card? I have no idea. So there are good and bad uses of credit, and you should research what those are. But if you don't need it to survive, you should not put it on a card.
Very good. Great tips and great information you're bringing to students all over the country. Thanks, Roy. It was great meeting you. We'll be right back.